Live from America's heartland, this is the Daily Truth Report with your host, Noah Christopher.
Welcome back to the Daily Truth Report. I'm your host, Noah, and returning today is one of our favorite guests by popular request, Bo Polny, back on the show. Bo, how are you?
Noah, great. Thank you for having me. Thanks for reaching out. And I look forward to talking to you. I think this is going to be a great show. Your focus was to really address some of the cryptocurrency questions, and I look forward to talking about that.
Yeah, that's great. We talk so much about political events and current events, and love talking to you about that. And there's going to be some of that in here today because you've got some new stuff even from the last time you were here. But it just really feels like cryptocurrency is at a pivotal point, and I know you've been saying that as well. We're going to talk about your report later on in this interview, but I got your report last night, and I said we just got to have Bo back on and talk about cryptocurrency so that we tell everybody in advance what you're seeing is coming, and we don't have to get emails from people saying that we wish you would have told us. So there's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Let's keep a focus on cryptocurrency. And I know you talk a lot about gold and silver, and we've talked about that before. Your opinion has not changed on that. Gold and silver are God's money, and you're very pro gold and silver. But today we're gonna talk about crypto, and maybe the place to start, Bo, would be what is it that's happening? And we got to talk a little bit about the world stage in politics. What is it that's happening right now that is setting the stage for crypto to be so important?
You know, to me, the news is kind of irrelevant because, as you've seen in the reports that I write, the cycles always will precede the events. So whatever the event is, it always ties in with the cycle beautifully. So we've been able to forecast when markets will turn, when Bitcoin will turn up or turn down, and so it's the news then happens to cause the turn. But the point being is this: we're at a pivotal point in time where, best I can describe this, Noah, is it's a prophetic word. It goes tick tack toe. The system is about to blow. And I don't know how better to describe where we're at, Noah, but that's where we're at. We've been waiting and waiting for this, massive, incredible, powerful move. And I honestly believe we are now, just so close to it. I think if you look at the title of page one, it's just like what started last November, ends this November. So this November coming here, we're at the 26th of October today. So coming into November, and by the end of November, so, we are, I've been saying forever, Thanksgiving is going to be, the start of, and one of the greatest spiritual Thanksgivings ever, which means that something incredible is supposed to happen on or right before Thanksgiving, which is the 25th of November of this year. And all the cycles that I'm looking at, everything points to something big happening. We don't know, the day or the hour, but the month right now, I believe we have calculated here, and we can talk about that, but I believe the month is November.
Yes, and you have been saying that. You said it a year ago on our show that this coming Thanksgiving in November was going to be one of the best of our lifetimes and one to remember, and it was going to be good, which means something good has to have happened. And I'll tell you what, tic-tac-toe, time to blow. It is. We're ready for it. Everybody has waited and waited, and this system is corrupt. It's time for it to go, don't you think?
How do you control people? Through fear. And wow, it's incredible to watch these things occurring in our world. But they, the evil ones, they are pushing their agenda, and it is sick. So like when could all of this start? And so I've been on your show. I've been recently on Elijah streams. I've been on numerous shows, and even since last year, I've been talking about, how important the year of Jubilee is. And, the year of Jubilee, it's the 50th year. The 50th year started. And I'm talking biblical Jubilee. This biblical Jubilee year started on September 6th of this past year, 2021. And we are presently today speaking, we're in the year of Jubilee. So that's where we're at right now. The year of Jubilee is a year of Jubilee, which means it takes us into next September. But the year of Jubilee, from what the newest piece of information that I've gotten, which again lines up with a protractor math, remember that I talked about with you earlier, past couple of interviews, how starting on May 26th, that May 26th time point, yeah, there it is, that page. May 26th was the start of end times. And so basically that's when the old world, old era ended and the new era began. And then we had that protractor taking us all the way into where we're now. We're we're in the fall right now, and we're heading into the 180-degree moment, which is November 22nd, which is 3 days before Thanksgiving. So think of this protractor as a man standing, or Goliath, right? So this huge, huge system that's been standing for generations, right? The tipping point of it started on August 24th, and that tipping point moment, and this is you can, people who have this PDF can click the link, or you Google Russia and Saudi Arabia signed military agreement. That happened on August 24th. That is the exact moment in time and tipping point where now the money system that we know, that we grew up with, is about to fall. And so that would represent the money system, meaning the US dollar. So we're at tipping point was the 24th. That then led into September 6th, the start of Rosh Hashanah, which incredibly, on that exact day, you had Evergrande bonds halted to avoid liquidation. So that is going to end up being a massive explosion that goes into next year, and causing the financial system to go upside down on its head. So by November 22nd, we're supposed to see an incredible shift start in our world. So if you scroll back to page 2, Noah, and the reason November is so important is I've had this in my slides from last year. I decided to put it back in so people can so your viewers and yourself can understand the importance of this secret math. And
yeah,
this
we haven't talked about this before. So this is Vortex Math. Tell us what that means.
So this is what the whole thing behind Tesla, and how he could create energy from a single source to power a whole city on like a few cents a year. All of it was based on this calculation. This is basically, it's a footprint. It's God's mathematical footprint. So there's a couple of links, video 1, video 2. Your viewers can click that at a future time and just go watch it, and it'll explain to you how these numbers all work. But it ties in with, with 432 hertz frequency and music. But it all ties into, numbers 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 are actually physical numbers, and the numbers 9, 3, and 6 are spiritual, so non-physical, with 9 being the epitome of all the numbers at the very top. So the most recent information, that I can give you from why is November important, because God's new year, God's 50th year, the Jubilee, began in September. So that would be 1.
Okay.
Today, we're in October. That's 2. So we're still in the physical. Now we head into 3, November. So in the month of November, I would say middle to, as we progress, approaching that 22nd time point in November, we're supposed to see something truly biblical arise. And that I would equate to, like I've talked about Isaiah 61, the year of the Lord's favor and the day of his vengeance. So I believe we're about to see that moment in time, like I stated earlier, tic-tac-toe, the system is about to blow. We're going to see the hand of God, such a powerful event we're supposed to experience across the world that changes our landscape, our reality, and everything from that point on shifts. And it's all premised about that page 16 or 17 I had earlier with you again on the protractor, right? And so that's the fall, or actually, if you can, don't even do that, go to page 6, and page 6 lines up with, you know, that's Goliath, right? And so the page above that is how they've controlled it all, is through this satanic money system of fiat money. So the fiat money is their control of Goliath, of this financial system of the world. And so when you go to the next page, Goliath, where Goliath is a prophecy, I've talked about this before, of 2,500-year-old prophecy, but we're about to go to page we're about to see the events happen. That's on page 7. Page 7 is the last part of that prophecy, where it states, as you looked, a stone was cut out by no human hand, and it struck the image on its feet of iron and clay and broke it to pieces. That moment in time is when Goliath falls. Goliath right now is a complete and utter representation of the money system, of the dollar. So the financial system is expected to begin to fall apart. That ties in with the Evergrandes the bond debacle that we talked about, you know, that started on September 6th, which was the start of God's New Year. So everything is pointing to a massive financial shift or event before the end of this year. And the page on the page 2, which we talked about how November is so important because of the math. So everything's pointing to, we should start seeing these events trigger next month. So extremely soon, we're supposed to see something very powerful happen. And that triggers directly, you know, we wanted to talk about cryptocurrencies, gold and silver. This ties in with all of that because Goliath is what they're using to control everything. So if they lose control, of Goliath falls, Noah, everything that's opposite the dollar is going to, you know, they're polar opposites. So Bitcoin, like gold, like silver, are opposite the dollar. However, they're able to, with contracts, you know, people, when you understand what contracts are, they've been able to manipulate gold and silver for generations. Well, that's about to end. But the bigger event, as equally important to is the event in Bitcoin, like you're saying, I feel like we're on the cusp of something big about to happen. And that is true. It's the point is, when the dollar breaks, we're going to see truly spectacular movements on cryptocurrencies. So I think, you know, this is a great topic to talk about, because not that cryptocurrencies are God's money, but they are opposite the dollar. And for the time being, they will be participating in this incredible wealth transfer that we know, that I've been talking about for a while now. And so if that's the year of Jubilee, is what a wealth transfer is. If you go up to page 4.
Well, that's really key. Just let me take a quick break, Bo, because we always get comments below the video every time you're on, and people say, oh, crypto can't be trusted, it's the mark of the beast, or it's the beast system, or it's going to control you. And,
no, let me
to
say
some
this.
extent, they're right.
So let me just pause you for a minute. It's not the mark of the beast yet.
There you go.
Okay, so that's the key to the word. You know, the mark of the beast, number one, is not tomorrow. Okay, we're years away from that still. Okay, so we're not there. The mark of the beast is, you know, Bitcoin is not the mark of the beast. Will it be the mark of the beast? The digital currency system, you know, this blockchain system will end up some way, shape, or form be that, but we're still years out from that. So go ahead, Noah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to talk about that because we always get that comment, and I want to make it clear that you're saying long term, it's God's money, it's gold and silver. You're saying short term, this is going to have a spectacular run up, and you're telling people how to prepare and get ready. And then maybe you take some of that money and you put it into gold and silver. You're not saying to stay in cryptocurrency forever, are you?
No, and you know, I'll tell you one thing: the people that are saying Bitcoin is going to go to zero, it's going to crash, it's you know, it's not God's money. Those are all the people that don't have Bitcoin. Okay, period. I can guarantee 99% of those people that are saying that because they don't have any Bitcoin, because they would wish they bought it at $5 or $10 or $100. They don't have it, so now they basically make themselves feel better that they don't have it. So therefore, Bitcoin must be a scam. So the point is, it's not. it's because a new financial system's coming online. It's going to go live, and this new financial system is going to be digital. Okay, and at some point in time in the future, yes, I won't be having any cryptocurrencies. I will have transitioned it all into maybe some land, maybe into some into land, into silver, precious metals. I would have transitioned it into food and water. So means. So the point of crypto, it's a means to get you to move you forward in time, so then you can then begin to build God's kingdom here on earth, because that's really, because God's kingdom is coming. Thy kingdom come, it's coming. And so our job is to prepare for it as the stewards.
Yeah, very good. So let me just recap a little bit, because there was so much in there. And I love this quote that's up on the screen that people have to understand this. You put up here from Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. 40% of all US money supply, so all dollars that are currently out there, have been created in the past 12 months. So if you thought you were saving your money and being smart or holding on to it, it's all of a sudden, when they can print new ones, if you have $100 a year ago, that $100 is worth 40% less today. It can't buy as many things because there's more dollars out there. 40% is a huge number. And you're saying that is the Goliath system. That's the system that's controlling everything, controlling politics, controlling everything in our world through bribes and everything else. And keeping, that's why people have to have 2 jobs and 3 jobs, and both spouses have to work, and you're not home. And it's this whole system that is this Goliath system that you're saying it's time for it to fall. Is that about the right summary?
Absolutely. Go to page 7, and that it's best described in what was said by was it Rockefeller? Let us control the money of a country, and we care not who makes its laws. So, by saying that, they can create as much money, so therefore they can control the church through 501c3s. They can control, like you said, the family. You put everybody to work. They can control the education system, what books are to be read by the students. They control the government, the military, they control the media, the social media, which we've seen that going on. They control entertainment, the arts. They control everything. Why? Because they can use the money to buy whatever they need to buy and pay off whatever they need to pay off. So it's all controlled. That is Goliath, as described in Daniel 2. And until Goliath falls, this is the essence of a whole talk we can have today. So the essence of this whole thing, Noah, is unless Goliath falls, unless the statue of Daniel 2 falls by the hand of God, unless God steps in and intervenes, nothing will change. This will continue to go on for another century and on and on. But we are at a point now where God will intervene. We're going to see that moment in time where we have the intervention. Goliath falls, the dollar falls, and then everything, or their control mechanism, actually, the dollar, starts to crumble. And what happens is their church begins to crumble. So watch the Vatican begin to crumble. The family system is going to completely change. Watch the education system crumble that Watch the military and the government start to completely do a 180. The media, we're going to see the media collapse. We're going to see social media be destroyed and a new social media come online. We're going to see Hollywood and entertainment and all these people just fall. All of this is with the birth of the new era, and all of this is supposed to happen after the glory arrives, after we see the move of God. And so, as I don't know what that means, I just know it's going to be something that we will never forget. It's going to be something extremely powerful and dramatic that changes the world landscape forever. And so these people that have been doing what they're doing, they're going to go into hiding, and they are going to run, and many will perish. And it's going to be just a dramatic shift. And it's all premised on specifically the events of the dollar demise.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, there's so much in here that you've taken some slides out and we still can't get to all of it, but there's a link right below this video for anybody watching. Download those slides. They're free. You can grab them. You can read through this. There's so much in here, but I have just a couple I want to ask you about, Bo, and then we're gonna spend the rest of our time talking about cryptocurrency, because that's what I've gotten so many questions from people they want to hear from you on. But this slide that's up here right now, slide 9, the Georgia Guidestones. Most people that I talk to, I ask them if they've ever heard of these things, and most people never have. But these are these giant stone tablets. They're huge, and they're in Georgia, and they just appeared one day. And when you talk about these people doing what they do behind the scenes and the evil of it, tell people that if someone's never heard of these things, tell them what they are.
You know, just go to your Google search engine or your search engine, type in the word Georgia Guidestone, hit images, and you'll see they pop up. This is a real deal. They're there. This is, in essence, you know how God gave mankind the 10 commandments. Okay. Well, these are these satanic 10 commandments in a nutshell. They're, you know, for whenever there's evil, there's good. For, you know, there's always a coin has two sides. So this is the other side of the 10 commandments. And the number one point of it is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Do you know how sick that is? Because there's over I think it's 8 billion people, or 7.5 billion, whatever the number is. So they literally want to destroy 90% of humanity. If that makes you feel good, you know, who would erect that? Number two is, if they did erect it, who would let it stand? This has been there for, I think, maybe 30, 40 years already, and they're still there. So who would let that stand?
Absolutely disgusting. Wow. Well, folks, it's out there. Go look it up. It's real. It's not conspiracy theory. They're out there in the open. You could go drive to them right now and read them. And among other things, they say a lot of other things, but one thing they say is to reduce humanity to 500 million people, which is crazy, but that's their goal. So glad to see this system coming down soon, Bo. Here's
it's going to come down soon, but you know, that's temporary, you know. So this is where God is a gracious God, and he's going to grants the world a window, a season, a window of opportunity to act accordingly. So, you know, so evil's, you know, not disappearing. He's just going to go into hiding for a while. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so during that time of reprieve, or during the new era, this slide, I just had to stop you and have you talk about this one, slide 26. Not only do we get a little bit of time of evil going away and being in hiding, but medical breakthroughs, new technologies. I've heard this from other people, and you've got a slide on it here. Is that what you see coming in terms of the future, that we could have some wildly different things popping up here pretty quick?
Well, this is actually prophetic. So I think I've gotten this from a few different prophets. Basically, they've stated things like new technologies, and so free energy, medical breakthroughs, particularly they're going to come out of Israel, and cures. So then that leads into what I talked about earlier about a new government, new political party, new education system. And then there's another prophetic word about AI, artificial intelligence, will be stopped before it ever inhabits mankind. So
that's good.
Those are some prophetic words on the specifically this massive on the new era as we head into it. And so it's going to be rather incredible. So I would just tell you, by the end of this year and into next year, don't be surprised if we see this next year. Biblical moment is coming, and it doesn't take when God acts. I think very shortly thereafter, or very quickly after, everything's going to start to change. So don't be surprised by the time January hits. All these mandates and everything we've seen are literally just get destroyed. So I think we're going to see some really immense glory here. Really.
Oh wow, I do like that a lot. We need it. Let's jump in and end our talk today on Bitcoin, because everyone always emails me and they love having you on, but they say, I wish you would have talked more about Bitcoin and what's coming, and not only Bitcoin, but altcoins. And you've got a slide here, altcoin season, when's it coming? So I want to talk to you about all of that. Let's maybe start with, even before we start with Bitcoin, we have to start with the US dollar, don't we?
That is Goliath. If that doesn't crash, if that doesn't fall, we just continue to live the same life and nothing will change. I don't know how better to describe that to you, Noah, and your viewers. It's all about the dollar because that is the control mechanism.
But you do see that falling.
That is the event that we're waiting for because the hand of God is that is the instrument that we're waiting for. That is literally the thing that will change the world as we know it. So the dollar itself has been prophesized to crash. The crash of the dollar will be the rise of gold, silver, God's money, and God's money, gold and silver, will rise with his kingdom. And so if gold and silver don't rise, God's kingdom will not rise. Are you with me? They're hand in hand. And I know that God's kingdom is about to rise. So if God's kingdom is about to rise, that means gold and silver are about to rise. Okay. Now, when you look at the dollar, I did this intentionally for, I put them side by side or one above the other. The top chart right there is you can see the US dollar, and the green zone is the year of Jubilee. Okay. So are you with me there? So you got the year of Jubilee and it started on September 6th. And I made it green for both the dollar and for Bitcoin. Okay.
There's Bitcoin.
So September 6th is the delineating time point. Now, if you scroll up just a little, so put the dollar there as well too. Now, what you're looking at there is, if you count from where the year of Jubilee began, you'll see the dollar had 1, 2, 3, 4 candlesticks upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4 candlesticks upwards. And then you look at the Bitcoin, you'll notice that it went 1, 2, 3, 3.5 or so, but it went down.
Right.
As gold went up for 4 candlesticks. So those are weekly candlesticks. For 4 weeks, gold went up while Bitcoin dropped for 4 weeks. And everybody's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to crash. No, because per our cycles that you had, right? The bottom was supposed to come in on September, I think 26th or 27th we had from like August. So the last day down was the end of September, and the beginning of October, Bitcoin was supposed to reverse back up. Isn't that what happened exactly?
Right.
Okay. And so the dollar went up for 4 candlesticks. And then now for 4 candlesticks, 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 weeks, the dollar is kind of going sideways, maybe down for 2 days, but it's down for 2 weeks, but it's in essence gone sideways, hasn't gone anywhere. And then you'll notice that Bitcoin, when you look at that chart, it's gone up it's gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gone 1, 2, 3, and then it's going sideways. So it's virtually doing very similar, but opposite to what the dollar is doing. So what I'm trying to illustrate to you in a general sense, don't look at they're not exact candlesticks, but it's pretty darn close. Okay. The point being is that the dollar is going to have a massive event to the downside. And what I'm trying to illustrate to you and your viewers there. And so Bitcoin is the candlesticks, the weekly candlesticks are exactly opposite or virtually opposite that of the dollar. So Bitcoin and the dollar are opposite. So when the dollar drops sizably, guess what Bitcoin's going to do? Jump. Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to illustrate to you and to your viewers. That's why when I write on page 33, $100,000 plus, meaning that or greater, in December of 2021 is 100%. It's a no-brainer. That is what's going to happen. Okay. So I'm willing to write that because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So and I've told you that already since like January, February, March, all of our prior interviews. I've been saying that.
You've said it every time. And I want everyone to see this. This is slide 33, 100,000 plus December 2021. That's 2 months away, 100%. So Bo is 100% confident. He's putting it on there. And I'll tell you what else. Bo, we're going to talk about your newsletter in a little bit. I know a lot of people listening to this already get your newsletter, but for those who don't, you might want to check it out. You released, and this is one reason I wanted to have you on today. You released new targets yesterday. You went through all the coins that you cover, and you listed your potential spike targets. And I can't give it away because there are people that pay for that, and we want to be fair to everybody. But you've got 100,000 plus on there, and I'll just tell people the plus is a big plus. Your potential spike target above 100,000 I think would surprise a lot of people, and it would make you very happy if you're holding Bitcoin. So that's all I'm going to say. If you want to see what that number is, it's in Bo's latest report, and it's in he has spike targets and ranges for every coin that he covers. And I read through it last night, and it was just fascinating, comparing to the different coins that I have and seeing where they could go. So how about that, Bo? We'll leave it at that. But your spike target's pretty big, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's why when I write 100, it's, it's kind of, I'm comfortable writing that 100% because I know where that's not even close to what my target is. So I'm very, very comfortable, to say that. One thing to also look at too, Noah, when you look at this chart, right? So last year, you'll notice on the left side of the page, that's where Bitcoin broke. It's a yellow bubble. You'll see Bitcoin was at $10,500 on the left side of that page for Bitcoin, right? It's in yellow there, right?
We
so
did some interviews back then when it was at 10,000, and we talked about it on this show.
Out. Yeah, correct. Yes. We basically talked about how Bitcoin's about to break through 10,000.
Mm-hmm. We did, and it sure did, and so basically, Bo, you're saying we're at another point like that where we might look back and say, man, I wish I bought some at 10,000. You might say the same thing about 60.
That's my point. So if you go the page up on that for the dollar chart, you'll notice the reason Bitcoin did that, because if you look at the dollar on the left side of the page, I said the dollar's gonna have a crash cycle, and look what it crashed all the way into the end of last year. Okay. Mm-hmm. So as the dollar's crashing, go back to Bitcoin, look what Bitcoin did, right? So the dollar crashed or dropped, it dropped, and Bitcoin made a $50,000 move.
Wow.
Point is that when the dollar dropped, Bitcoin went 50,000. So we got another dollar drop coming. So just simple math, 60,000 plus 50, that's $110,000. That's why 100's it's a no-brainer target on the next move for Bitcoin.
Wow.
But usually an explosive leg is going to be more powerful. It's a fifth leg. So usually those are way more powerful. So that's why I have targets that are much higher than that. But so that's what I'm trying to illustrate to you. This is about the fall of Goliath. The fall of Goliath is the fall of the paper debt-based financial system. The fall of that, everything opposite goes crazy. So so in other words, but in November, okay, I expect a couple things about November. So from our updates, November, we expect a sharp drop, and then a sharp reversal, and then an explosion. So lots coming in November. November is going to be very scary for a lot of people, but we have the cycles for it. So for our subscribers, it's going to be, a walk in the park. It's the people that don't have the cycles are going to be a little freaked out because they don't know what's coming is at the top. It's going to be very, very volatile in November. But that's what's coming. So that 0.5, if you look at page 35, okay, so there's an explosion into 5. So point number 5 is in November. You have the date, you know what it is, and expect that point comes in November. Then there's a sharp drop, and then we have a massive explosion, vertical after that. A lot of extreme volatility is coming in November. But again, for when you have the cycles, it's all expected, which takes the stress out of all the stress out of your life.
It really does. It's when you read it in advance and then you sit back and watch it happen, it does take a lot of stress out.
Well, look at page 35. We've had that cycle since August. Like, Noah, look at the turns. Is that incredible? Like, we knew 0.4 was end of September way back in August.
Yeah. And by the way, if you decide to get his newsletter, you don't have to. What I love about Bo is he always comes on and he says, you don't need to get this, but if you want it, it's a service I provide. But if you don't want to get it, just buy some Bitcoin. But if you want to know this stuff and know what's coming, you can get the newsletter. And the cool thing is when you get in there, not only do you get all the new ones that he releases, and you do one about every couple days, but you can go back. The entire archive is in your account when you get a subscription. So you can go back, and you don't have to trust me or trust Bo that we're talking about this. Now you can go back and listen to my shows too, because Bo's said this over the past 12 months, but all of his newsletters are in there, and you can see back when it was $10,000, what he was telling you was going to happen, and then go in there and match it up. And you're going to be blown away when you take a look at that.
Check out the April, the end of March of last year. We literally said the bull market begins on April 1. Noah, we nailed it. April 1 was like the day that Bitcoin reversed vertical, has never looked back. That's actually our starting point for our cycle. All the calculations on the percentage moves all stem back to April 1 of last year. And we've got coins that are up 5,000%, 10,000%, 15,000%, 8,000. Some are up, Bitcoin's up 800% since then. So it's rather fascinating how incredible these cycles are. Since August, the pattern, the turns, I think I've got the number. I think I know we're 90% on the turns. I think it was like, we got 11 of 12 turns or whatever it was. I forget the number, but I know we've got about a 90% on the turns since August. So it's really exciting. I can say that November is going to be really volatile, but exciting as well too. We've got an incredible finish to the year coming. We on the page above that is the altcoin chart that we talked about. So that's on page 34.
Real quick before we do that,
Yeah.
Bo, I just want to touch on one more thing that you said that I think is so important. That it's fun when you talk about the big targets that are coming, 100,000 plus, and even the bigger number in your newsletter. But as important, if not more important, is knowing when the drops are coming and when it might be time to get out, or at least to know that a drop's coming and not to be worried. No one ever thinks about that, but those are the big moments to know whether it's time to be out, time to be in, or time to freak out, or just to hold on for dear life. So I really want people to know that it's not just about the big numbers that are coming, because you got to know what to do with them.
Well, that's a great point you make, because Bitcoin's long in the tooth. I want to explain what that means. The cycle's long in the tooth. It's running out of time. Okay. So as exciting as 100,000 sounds, all parties come to an end.
Yep.
All parties come to an end. This Bitcoin party is going to come to an end. And as exciting as 100,000 plus whatever sounds, there's a big crash coming. After the spike top, it's followed by a big crash. So as exciting as all this is, as you know, and your viewers should know, is that it's really volatile. So as exciting as these huge numbers are, it's fun on the way up, and it hurts like crazy on the way down if you got in at the top. So the point is that if you don't have the cycles for Bitcoin, it's for what's coming here, when there's a big crash coming off this top, and the party comes to an end. For a while at least. But then eventually Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, but it's not. But none of this happens overnight. It takes time, and so one big party that's been going on is coming to an end.
Well, hang on, Bo. I don't think we have never talked about that before. You just made news here. So there's a lot of people that think Bitcoin's going to $1 million, and I just heard you are you saying that eventually happens? You see that in your cycles?
Oh yeah. We've got the time, the year side. I read about that in my report as well too. So that's in there. So it's coming. Wow. It's just that it's not tomorrow. It's not next year. It's a while out. So so those who have a big picture perspective, just keep holding on for for a long time, and you'll get there. But just know that Bitcoin moves incredibly, and the alternate coins and these cryptocurrencies as a general space, they move like crazy. And it's really fun on the way up. But if you don't know when to get out, or if you don't take some profits, or if you don't know when to get out, it is painful on the downside. That's the point of why I do what I do. I use it for my cycles. I did this for myself, and then a lot of people ask, so I now share my cycle work with people. When the party's over, it's over.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk altcoins and altcoin season. So as excited as I am about Bitcoin, and I have some Bitcoin, but I'm way more excited about altcoins, and I think most people are once they find out what they are and their potential. So I'm going to take us down to this screen, because you got some of the icons on the screen here. So tell us a little bit about what altcoin season even means, and then what we might see on some of those, and why do you even cover these? Why other ones other than Bitcoin?
So altcoins are altcoins other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the granddaddy, and then every other coin falls in the category of altcoins or alt tokens, but they're basically not Bitcoin. So that's the essence of them. There are as many coins There's probably, I don't know, the last I checked, 2 or 3,000 of them. And this is the problem with altcoins. So I've done my research. I've spent a lot of time studying over the years, many of these different coins, projects, and what they do, what the purposes are. And I can tell you, I have 2 to 3,000 coins. Maybe next year, year after, there probably be only 100 left. So
Oh, wow.
I would say 90% are going to go to zero. So, because how many coins do you really need? Like you've got digital currency, Bitcoin, and then there's a bunch of others that'll do a lot of really fantastic things. But at some point, between 100 coins, maybe 200 coins, like how much more can you do with these, with the coins? So it's very dangerous to be involved in a lot of these coins, because a lot of them are just, speculation or someone's idea. So that's what I can tell you about specifically the alternate coins. I cover, I think, a dozen of them in my report, which I've done all, I honestly believe I have investments in them. I think they're, I think they're really wonderful coins. I think they have a very, very bright future. So I talk about a good dozen coins within my report.
Well, so listen, everybody. Right now, you're getting some incredibly valuable advice that you just got from Bo. If you look on the screen, download this slide presentation, go to slide 36, and the names and the logos that you see there are the ones Bo's telling you 90% are going to go to zero. I think he's right. It might even be higher than that. No guarantee that all of these are going to survive, but these are the quality ones that he's looking at. So there's
actually
right
3
there.
or 4 coins that are on, 2 or 3 coins that I don't cover. I covered a long time ago, but that's just a general picture. But I do, good chunk of those I do like, and I have in my report. And there's additional ones. There's a couple.
And I think
there's 2. I'm looking at 2 that I don't cover anymore in my report. But I
get the
just
report to find out.
We talk about altcoin season. To answer you what that question is, what altcoin season is like right now we're in Bitcoin season. Why? Well, look at Bitcoin is back up to over $60,000, and many of the alternate coins haven't moved a whole lot in the past maybe month or so. They've gone up since our low came in on September 27th, 28th. Many of the alternate coins have moved up off that point, but they've gone up. Bitcoin has about doubled the performance to tripled the performance of many of the alternate coins.
Right.
And so Bitcoin right now, that's why it's called Bitcoin season, because Bitcoin, Bitcoin's season of strength. And so Bitcoin is going to be more aggressive right now. And then following Bitcoin season, we're soon to see altcoin season, which kicks in a little later. I cover that in the report, but altcoin season kicks in. And then we're going to see crazy happen with the alternate coins. And we're going to see these incredibly awesome price targets get hit, which are covered, in the report, but so we're going to see a very strong move, stronger than what we've seen in Bitcoin. So as great as Bitcoin is at 100 or whatever $1,000, the alternate coins percentage wise will, the ones that we cover, there's a 3 or 4 or 5 in there that are going to multiply even the percentage move that Bitcoin will make, if that makes sense.
Right. So you might get a 2x or a 3x in Bitcoin, but in some of these other ones, it could, we've seen them go 10x, 100x, more than that. And you're saying there's still room in the cycles for that to happen again.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So when altcoin season hits, it's going to be fireworks.
Excellent. Well, listen, if you want more details on that, Bo puts it all in his newsletter. He gives away so much for free when he comes to talk to us here, but he also has to be fair to the people that are his subscribers, and we totally appreciate that. So if you want to get more of that information, go to slide 36, go to gold2020forecast.com. And Bo, as you always do, this is also so nice. You go to that website, you plug in the code WLT49, and he's going to give you a 14-day trial, 2-week trial. You're going to get a report usually every couple days. They show up in your inbox, and I always stop what I'm doing and I go read the report because I can't wait to see what he's saying. And you're going to get 2 weeks free of the 14-day trial. It's $49 with that code, cuts it down from the normal price. And you can see if you like it. And if you like it, stick around. If you don't like it, you can cancel, but you can go back and see the entire archive and everything's in there. And then, Bo, one more thing that I have to talk about, because this gets so much attention every time. you created this with your son, which is so cool. This is the Easy Crypto School, because there's so many people listening to our interview right now who don't need any more convincing. These are the people that they don't own Bitcoin yet, but they get it. They understand where it's going. They want to have some exposure to it, and they don't even know where to get started. And it can be really confusing and really hard to figure out. So you and your son have taken it and put it all together. You put some modules together, you click through, watch some videos, watch some step-by-step guides, and it'll take you from knowing absolutely nothing about how to buy crypto to being able to buy your first one. Is that essentially what you can do with the crypto school?
That's exactly it, Noah. And I would say the most important thing is, don't get involved in cryptocurrencies. Seriously, people should not be involved in cryptocurrencies if they don't know all the steps, because as much as you might be happy or you got a certain coin or you want to get a certain coin, ultimately, even if you have the coins you want, if they're not stored correctly, properly, the course takes you through getting them, moving them around, getting the coins you want. Ultimately, this is the key, ultimately storing them safely. And if you don't do that, and if you're leaving coins in exchanges, you're not finishing the end result is to get them in your possession and have them stored safely. And so that's critical to anybody involved in cryptocurrencies. If you're not holding, if you're not in true possession of your coins, you have a huge probability of losing them. And that's happened to many, many, many people already. So it's critical to understand the entire gamut of getting started, but ultimately finishing and storing and holding them and holding possession of them. So that's what I can tell you, people, cryptocurrencies versus like gold and silver. You can buy it, you can bear it in your backyard, or whatever you want to do with your gold and silver. But the point being is, where it is. Okay, it's in your possession. There's no middleman between you and your silver or your gold. That's the point of gold and silver. If there's a middleman between you and your cryptocurrencies, they're not truly yours. So that's the essence. It's important to understand the whole picture of cryptocurrencies, not a piece of the pie.
Yeah, that's great. And it really is so important. The last thing that either one of us wants to happen is someone to get all excited and try and get into this and then end up losing money. So that's why I love that you put this together, that you are trying to help people through that. You and I have both learned the hard way over years, and I didn't have the ability to put together a course like this, but you did, and that's really great that you help people and help them avoid those problems. So if you want to get that, go to easycryptoschool.com, and you've also put a code in there. If they want to get it, they plug in WLT39. It's going to give them the whole program for $39. For 30 days. They can get in there, they can try it out. You can use it for 30 days. It's $39. And if you've got it all figured out, then you can just cancel and you're all set. So another nice deal there. So Bo, that kind of takes us to the end. There is so much in here that we did not get to, but it's really good stuff. I want to end on your slide here. You've got, Bo has fit us in as his very last interview before he gets on a plane, because you are heading out to Maryland. Is that right?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I actually look forward to that. So it'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to a little, I got invited to speak this is gonna be a great conference. So Frederick, Maryland. I think I speak on Saturday. I'm pretty sure I speak on this Saturday.
Well, if you're in the area, you should get out there and see Bo. I wish I was close, but I'm not. This show is live from the heartland, and I'm several states away, but I wish I could be there. Bo, I hope maybe at some point they'll put some of this stuff online, because we'd love to see it. But hope you have a great conference. If you're anywhere near Frederick, Maryland, get out to see Bo at Cornerstone Fellowship Church, October 28th through the 30th. And I bet that's going to be an amazing event. A lot of other good people there too. I see a lot of pictures and names that I recognize. So that looks awesome. The Patriots Arise Conference. So that's great. Well, Bo, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time before you travel. We really appreciate it. It is always a pleasure, and we'll have you back on soon. And I just have a feeling we might be talking about some fireworks on Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens, but we'll talk to you about that. And we'll talk to you about a very incredible November coming up very soon.
God bless you, Noah. I think we are at that moment of time, tic-tac-toe. So let's see how God moves, what his plans are, how this all plays out. But this is literally going to be one of these moments in time that we have been waiting for, and we will see the hand of God, how it looks, what it means. We will soon find out.
Yeah, but no better way to leave it than that. Thanks, Bo. We'll see you next time.